Good evening and welcome to the broadcast of the Enid City Commission meeting. Broadcasting live in high definition from the council chambers at the City Administration Building located at 401 West Owen K. Garriott. Please stay tuned as Mayor Bill Shuey presides over the meeting.
Call the meeting to order, and that we are all present. Item 2, the invocation will be given by Kenneth Wade. And the flag salute after that. Joe Jackson, would you lead us in the flag salute, please? Kenneth, thank you for being here.
Let us pray. Lord God, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessings of this day. We thank you for the blessings we enjoy in this community. We thank you for the gifts that you've given to our commissioners, our staff, and our city workers so that they make this place a better place to live for each of us. We pray that you will guide and direct this council tonight so that the decisions that they make will be for the welfare and benefit of all the citizens of this community, so that as we share with each other, we can enjoy your blessings each day, the rest of our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, consider approval of minutes of the regular commission meeting of March 15, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by David, second by Aaron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Under item 5, awards, presentations, proclamations, and organizational business. Skip to item 4 first for the pet available for adoption at the city animal shelter. There you are.
Good evening. My name is Officer Jared Free with Enid Animal Control. With me, I have Lucy. She's a very nice dog, 6 months of age possibly, maybe a little bit younger. She's going to get to be pretty bigger. But she's a great dog. We have many, many animals available for adoption at the animal shelter, and we would like for y'all to come out 1200 South 10th. She's actually available right now. She has another partner in her pen as well that she came in with. And we just encourage you, if y'all don't want an animal, just let somebody know that does. We do adopt. So spread the word. Come out to Enid Animal Control, 1200 South 10th, 249-4910. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good dog.
Item 5.1, Autism Awareness Week proclamation. Steve Kahn.
Mayor, would you join us, please? Mayor and Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We have 3 proclamations to share with you for this evening. Ashley Kimbrell. Ashley, come on up. Ashley's a autism specialist. And the other day when I was visiting with her, slow learner, I noticed all the blue that was going on with autism here recently. So I asked her a little bit about that color. And she said, Steve, 4 to 5 times, autism is 4 to 5 times more common in boys than in girls. I never knew that. So they chose the color blue. So I thank you for sharing that. You know, I didn't realize that. Ashley, thank you for being here. And the proclamation is as follows. Whereas autism is the fastest growing developmental disability in the United States, affecting more than 3 million people. Autism is a neurological disorder that interferes with the normal function of the human brain and can affect anyone. Whereas symptoms and characteristics of autism may present themselves in a variety of combinations and can result in significant lifelong impairment of an individual's ability to learn, develop healthy interactive behaviors, and understand verbal as well as nonverbal communication. And whereas doctors, therapists, and educators can help people with autism overcome challenges and provide early, accurate diagnosis, it is fitting and proper to ensure that individuals living with autism have access to lifelong care and services needed to achieve their greatest potential. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Bill Shuey, Mayor of the City of Enid, hereby proclaims the week of August 10th through the 16th to be Autism Awareness Week, and urge our citizens to learn about services, programs, and opportunities to support people with autism and their loved ones. Congratulations, Ashley. Thank you.
It is such an honor to be able to accept this award on behalf of all of the families living in the state of Oklahoma, and more specifically those here in Enid, where I grew up and where I'm from. It affects so many different people, and when you're out in public, you may not realize that there's a child with autism who's in your midst. But please remember, all of these families struggle with unique and special abilities and challenges every day of their lives. Please keep them in mind when you're looking for a service organization to donate or a family to help out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashley, for my lapel pin. Now, Mom, did you get all the pictures you needed? Okay. All right. J.D. Overton. J.D., you're close by. There he is. Number 2 of 3 proclamations for this evening. J.D., thanks for being here. Whereas this extraordinary progress we've made on behalf of millions of victims since the passage of the Victims of Crime Act in 1984, we renew our nation's commitment to serving all victims of crime. And whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week, April 10th through the 16th of 2016, provides an opportunity to extend that vision to every victim of crime in the United States to help ensure their access to the help they deserve and the rights they are promised. And whereas the City of Enid is joining forces with the victim service programs, criminal justice officials, and concerned citizens throughout Enid and America to raise awareness of victims' rights and observe National Crime Victim Rights Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Bill Shuey, Mayor of the City of Enid, hereby proclaims the week of April 10th through the 16th, 2016, to be National Crime Victims Rights Week, and reaffirm Enid's commitment to respect and enforce victim rights and address their needs during Crime Victims Rights Week and throughout the year, and express our appreciation for those victims of crime survivors who have turned personal tragedy into a motivating force to improve our response to victims of crime and build a more just community. Congratulations, J.D., and it's, I believe this is the one right there. Yes.
Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you very much. My boss and your elected district attorney, Mike Fields, couldn't be here tonight, so he asked me to accept this. And he also asked me to invite everyone in the listening and viewing audience and all of you folks, if you would like to come to our 25th annual vigil for victims' rights. That is next Tuesday, a week from today, April the 12th at 6 o'clock at the YWCA on the corner of Quincy and Garrett. It's going to start promptly at 6 o'clock. It'll last less than an hour. There'll be some very good speakers and some world-class entertainment there. There's plenty of parking, and it's free of charge. So again, next Tuesday for the vigil, if anybody'd like to come, and they can call me, JD, at the DA's office, 233-1311, for further information. And thank you very much.
Mayor and Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more proclamation. City Manager Gilbert makes his way down. Keller Taylor, you've been here before. Come on down. So you're leaving us, huh? In a few weeks, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is this fine, upstanding, tall young man, Keller Taylor.
He's grown a lot since
Yeah.
awesome hair, too.
Yeah. Okay. The proclamation, Keller, reads as such. Whereas Keller Taylor arrived in Enid to assume the role as general manager of the Enid Event Center and Convention Hall in February 2012, and as Keller Taylor facilitated the reopening of Convention Hall in November 2012 and the grand opening of the Enid Event Center in June 2013. And whereas entertainment acts by American country music artist Gary Allan and Cirque Musica kicked off the grand opening festivities, ushering in Enid's new role as the entertainment capital for Northwest Oklahoma. And under Keller's leadership, the numbers of events held in the facilities grew to nearly 400, with an annual attendance of 110,000. And whereas under Keller Taylor's guidance, a number of diverse entertainment options were booked, including Reba, Willie Nelson, Alan Jackson, Vince Gill, Little Big Town, the Beach Boys, Rodney Carrington, Disney Live, Harlem Globetrotters, Circus, MMA, the OSSAA activities, and Enid High School athletics, just to name a few. Very impressive resume. In appreciation to Keller Taylor's dedicated efforts and in gratitude of his loyal service to help make this entertainment facility a reality for the Enid, Oklahoma community. Now therefore be it resolved that Bill Shuey, the mayor of the city of Enid, hereby proclaims next Wednesday, April 13th, as Keller Taylor Day. Congratulations.
Well, it's very humbling to be here today, and it's a great honor. Thank you for everyone behind me, and it really goes out to the entire community. Without the support of everyone in this room and in this whole region, we couldn't have done what we've been doing. It's been a phenomenal 4 years for me personally and professionally. We'll hold Enid very dear to our heart. My daughter was born here. We grew as a family here, and without the support of the city management and the council, both here and previous, without their vision and leadership, we wouldn't be standing here today. So we're very excited about what the future has to hold. Spectra Venue Management is going to work hard every day to transform events into experiences. And I know the predecessor will come in and do a phenomenal job. So rest assured that you will have plenty of entertainment acts coming in the near future. Thank you again for this phenomenal honor, and I'm really very, very humbled by it. Thank you.
Mayor and Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the proclamations for this evening. Thank you for your time.
Item 5. 5.5, yeah. 5.5, I'm sorry. Consider appointments to the Police Civil Service Commission, Fire Civil Service Commission, Library Board, Board of Adjustment, ADA Access Board, and Advanced Development Authority. Joan,
Thank you,
are you
Mayor.
going to handle that?
I am.
Great.
The first board that is up for an appointment this evening is the Police Civil Service Commission. There is one vacancy to be filled by a member of the Enid Police Department who shall act as secretary to the commission. Captain Brian Skaggs is the incumbent for this position but cannot succeed himself due to the charter provisions. Applications have been submitted by Captain Gary Fuchsa and Lieutenant Randy King. There's one choice to be had on Fire Civil Service.
Need to vote for one.
Yes.
Anybody have, anybody,
If you're here and you would like to address the commission, now's the time to do so.
I didn't see either one.
I didn't either, I'm sorry.
Please vote for one. While you told that, we will go to the second one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The second one is the Fire Civil Service Commission. There's one vacancy to be filled by any interested citizen of the city of Enid. It's to fill an unexpired term to May 19th of 2018. The vacancy results from the resignation of Mr. Sal Alvarado due to a residency requirement. Applications have been submitted by Mr. David Buckles, Mr. Todd Earl, Mr. Jason Skaggs, Mr. William Stitsworth, and Miss Margie Weldon. Are any of you in the audience tonight would like to address the commission? You may do so at this time. It is one vacancy.
Library Board.
The library board has two vacancies to be filled by an interested citizen of the city of Enid. Incumbents to this board are Mr. Burt Clampett and Ms. Tracy Layton. Mr. Clampett is term limited. Ms. Layton seeks reappointment. Applications have also been received from Ms. Whitney Hall, Mr. Roger Hardaway, and Ms. Marcy Jarrett. The successful applicant will serve on the board through May 2019. If there is one of these members that would like to address the council now, would be the time to do so. Come on up to the mic and state your name and your address, and then you can continue.
Good afternoon. My name is Tracy Layton. My life's work has consisted of empowering youth in a positive way. I have served our community as a teacher, an art teacher, and a business owner. It is through my experience as a board member of the library where I have come to really appreciate and love what the library does for our community. Please consider me for another term.
Thank you.
Do I need an address? Did I leave out anything? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, the library board has two vacancies.
Please cast your vote. The results of the Police Civil Service Commission vote. Gary Fuchsa has 4 votes, Randy King has 3. Those voting for Gary Fuchsa were Ron Jansen, Benny Zell, Tammy Wilson, and Bill Schuett. Those voting for Randy King, Aaron Brownlee, Rodney Tim, David Van Hooser. Congratulations to Gary Fuchs.
So we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, no. Go ahead and do the last one.
The Board of Adjustment, there's one vacancy to be filled by any interested citizen of the city of Enid. Mr. William Gungle is the incumbent on this board and does not seek reappointment. The only applicant for this vacancy is Mr. Marlon Giles.
Move to appoint.
Motion by Ben,
Is he here?
Is Mr. Giles here? Would you like to address the commission?
do we need a second before we move on?
You can allow him to speak, but you'll either need a second to vote on it, or the motion may die for lack of a second.
Good evening. My name's Marlon Giles. I'm new to town. I pastor Abundant Life Church over at 16th and Chestnut. I like to be involved in the communities I live in. Found out about the commissions, and so I applied. I hope you'll accept me for that board.
Thank you. Have a motion.
Motion by Ben. Do we have a second?
One applicant, one position.
Motion dies for lack of a second. We'll wait until we tabulate the ballots. Or I can read the first Civil Service Commission. The person with the most votes, Todd Earl, had 6 votes. William Stitsworth had 1. Voting for Todd Earl, Aaron Brownlee, Benny Zell, Rodney Tim, Tammy Wilson, David Van Hooser, and Bill Shuey. Voting for William Stitsworth, Ron Jansen.
The ADA Access Board has 2 vacancies to be filled as follows. 1 vacancy is to be filled by a person with a disability who resides in Garfield County to fill an unexpired term to April 7th, 2017. This vacancy is due to the resignation of Ms. Marion Chance. The only applicant for this position is Mr. Charles Teeson.
Move to appoint Mr. Charles Teeson.
Second.
Which one did you just read?
ADA Access Board.
Okay, okay.
He's the only applicant for this one.
There are 2 slots.
you're not gonna
One
have
for
a-
anyone, one for,
I didn't read it that way.
One of the vacancies has to be filled by a person with a disability, and there was only one applicant, which was Charles Teeson.
I'm with you.
And we have,
I move to appoint.
Motion by
second.
Ben, second by Tammy. Discussion, please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. I'm sorry,
and now we'll move to this one, which go ahead and get the papers in front.
I'm caught up now.
The second vacancy is to be filled as follows. 1 vacancy to be filled by a resident of the city of Enid. Ms. Jessica Edwards is the incumbent for this position and seeks reappointment. An application has also been submitted by Mr. Craig Riffle. The successful applicant will serve on the said board through April 7th, 2019.
Are they here?
On this one, you do have a ballot, and would either of you like to speak to the commission?
Oh, Craig and Jessica. Okay. Is he incumbent?
The votes for the library board. Tracy Layton has 6 votes. Whitney Hall, 4. Those voting for Whitney, Ron Jansen, Aaron Brownlee, Benny Zell, and Bill Shuey. Those voting for Tracy Layton, Aaron Brownlee, Benny Zell, Rodney Tim, Tammy Wilson, David Van Hooser, and Bill Shuey. Those voting for Roger Hardaway, Rodney Tim, Tammy Wilson, David Van Hooser. Those voting for Marcy Jarrett, Ron Jansen.
2 vacancies will be filled by Ms. Tracy Layton
Yes, ma'am.
and Ms. Whitney Hall,
That's correct.
correct? Okay.
That's correct. We'll wait on the last one. Do we have any others?
We have Advanced Development Authority left.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have the ballot in front of us. Okay,
Go ahead.
sure.
Advanced Development Authority has 3 vacancies to be filled as follows. 1 vacancy to be filled by a former mayor of the city of Enid. Mr. Ernie Courier is the incumbent for this position and seeks reappointment. There are no other applicants for this position. If approved, Mr. Courier would serve on the authority through March 1st, 2020.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by David, second by Ben. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0.
There is also 1 vacancy to be filled by a member of the Air Force Association. Mr. George Penconen is the incumbent for this position and seeks reappointment. There is no other applicants for this position, and if approved, he will serve on the authority through March 1st, 2020.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Rodney, second by
Did George want to speak?
George. Would you like to speak? Good speech, George. We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0.
There is also 1 vacancy to be filled by a retired member of the U.S. Air Force to fill an unexpired term to March 1st, 2017. This vacancy results from the resignation of Mr. Bob Farrell due to residency requirements. The only applicant for this position is Mr. Roy Fig Newton. Would you like to speak?
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, Councilman. I got to Enid 1st of October 1965, resided off and on until 1985 when I retired from the Air Force. Been here ever since, retired educator. It's time for me, I am retired, it's time for me to give back to my community that's given me so much. The Vance Enid partnership and development cannot be overstated. It's one of the vital parts of our economy and our city. And I'm more than happy to serve on this board. Thank you.
Motion to
approve, Mr. Newton.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by, is that you, Ron? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. The results. Joan, do you have any more?
I have no more.
The results of the ADA Access Board, Jessica Edwards has all 7 votes, Ron Jansen, Aaron Brownlee, Benny Zell, Rodney Tim, Tammy Wilson, David Van Hooser, and Bill Shuey, all voting for Jessica Edwards. Congratulations to all the winners. Item 6, hearings. Item 6.1, conduct a hearing rezoning property situated in the southwest corner of Section 6, Township 22 North, Range 5 West of the Indian Meridian, Garfield County, Oklahoma, located at the northeast corner of 66th Street and Chestnut Avenue, from A Agriculture District to I-3 Industrial Heavy District. Chris.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, City Management. The slide in front of you shows the site being considered this evening in yellow. It currently is zoned agricultural. It is on 66th Street on the east side of the property. They are operating there under a temporary permit, and probably well aware of it, they're receiving parts for wind turbines all the way from the propellers to the tower pieces. And the proper zoning for that type of activity and use is industrial I-3. The I-3 just north of the railroad track, if you recall, was the canola plant site, and so it's in that general neighborhood. Are there any questions that I can answer? Thank you.
We have two people signed up.
I have nothing to share, just here to answer questions if you have.
Okay. Chip McCoy also. Same comment? Under item 7, community development. Item 7.1, consider an ordinance rezoning property situated in the southwest corner of Section 6, Township 22 North, Range 5 west of the Indian Meridian, Garfield County, Oklahoma, located at the northeast corner of 66th Street and Chestnut Avenue, from A, Agriculture District, to I-3, Industrial Heavy District.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by David. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 8.1, I'm sorry, item 8, administration. Under item 8, 8.1, approve amendment number 8 to the owner-engineer agreement dated April 16, 2013 between the City of Enid and CEC Corporation, formerly Cobb Engineering, for FAA grant administration, field survey, engineering plans and specifications, and an update of the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, DBE, goal in support of South Parking Apron Project, in support of the South Apron Project at Enid Woodring Regional Airport, AIP 3-40-0028-027-2016, in the amount of $53,000. Oh, no.
Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, Mr. Gilbert, just a quick background. We're talking about this area right here. Here's the terminal, here's the terminal parking area, and here's the southeast parking apron. Over the last few years, we've seen this parking apron deteriorate. It's heaving, it's cracking, it's becoming less usable, if you will, for parking aircraft. We have decided that this area right here, if you go to the next slide, would be more suited as a parking area. Here's the terminal again. Here's the joint use hangar.
Oh, no, if you would, speak into the microphone.
Yep. Here's the area we're talking about. The joint use hangar is over here, the terminal is over here. The parking area that we have currently is right in that area here. You can park about 12 aircraft in this area. The other one, the southeast parking area, is about a quarter mile from the terminal. It's out of the way, and right now, the terminal parking area gets overflown on the weekends, and we end up putting aircraft in the south area. We want to build a new parking area. We've looked into financing. We can get about $180,000 from the Oklahoma Strategic Military Planning Commission. We have up to $300,000 available from the FAA. So putting these together, we ought to be able to build this thing with no cost to the city. The amendment, the amendment you have in front of you tonight is so that Cobb Engineering or CEC can go out, do the plans and specs, and all the preparatory work before we actually begin this project, probably sometime late this summer. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Ben, second by Tammy. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ono. Item 8.2, consider a resolution authorizing the City of Enid to submit a grant application to the Oklahoma Industrial Access Road Program, also known as the IRP, for the repair and upgrade of 66th Street from US 412 North, 1 mile.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by David, second by Ben. Further discussion? Please cast your vote.
Thank you.
Carries 7-0.
Nice job. Good job, Robert.
Good job, Robert. Item 8.3, award and execute an operating lease with Yamaha Golf Car Company for the lease of 50 carts at Meadow Lake Golf Course in the amount of $35,340.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Ben. Further discussion?
Yes, sir, I do. Understand that this is a 48-month. Cody, is Cody here?
No, I've got it.
Okay, all right. It's a 48-month lease beginning in August.
Correct.
Increases our monthly cash outflow by roughly $350 a month.
Around about $3,600 a year.
So why would we wait, why would we not wait and start this in the spring instead of in August, when they're gonna sit in a barn for 6 months?
It actually will deliver, the promise to deliver is after the first of the year of, between July and August, to start for the summer. This is when they offered us the lease. What they do is they take the carts we have and refurbish them, and they have a market for that, and they have that market now. So this is offering to give us a higher price on those that we are turning in. We have the option to wait until next year. But if we do so, then the current carts won't be worth as much, and it'll end up costing us more. So the idea is that this is our best option. And the other idea, the other position is that it actually goes into the next budget year and doesn't affect the current one. We can plan ahead for that.
Carts that we have are leased now.
They are leased. They've been.
Why does the trade-in value matter on a lease?
Well, because he's going to turn around and lease them. Varying people take them at varying ages of carts. I mean, he has a market for a used cart that is only, this 2013 cart. Typically, it's the last year of a 4-year lease that the carts start, the batteries start going and the wheels start. When we owned them, the 4th year was always the one that had the worst problems. But again, we can wait till next year. I believe that it will cost more next year to redo the lease. This is the offer the company has given us, so we went to other companies and had them give us an offer as well to do a cost comparison, and felt this was the best deal for the golf course at this time.
I think that my hangup is we're gonna get brand-new golf carts that are gonna sit there and be unused for 6 months, where we're gonna have to pay an extra $300 a month for them. I understand that there's some value in the carts that are currently on property, but what I'd like to understand is what the price is. I mean, I kind of am on the same page with David. We've been leasing those. They're of the same. I mean, lease is paid.
No, but
So-
we continue to pay the lease. We're gonna be paying a monthly lease.
But can we not go month to month from August until March and begin the new lease in March of 2017?
I see. Don't begin the new lease until you actually have them in hand.
Until we actually need them, rather than having them sit in the garage.
I'm not sure about that, if that's the way set up.
Expires in July 2007.
Aaron, would you,
Sorry. The current lease that they have expires in July of 2016, and so that would be up to the company. I mean, basically, at the end of the lease, they would come pick up that unless they wanted to extend those terms, and I'm not sure if the company would be willing to do that for such a short period in between there.
so the lease doesn't automatically go month to month after the term expires?
Joan, do you have a,
But we don't know that it doesn't. We don't know that there's not an option to go month to month. Is that correct?
It was not presented that way.
do you have the number of carts that were rented annually?
All 50. This would replace all of our cars.
Dollar amount,
The dollar amount that we're currently paying,
the income that we receive off.
it more than pays back this lease rent. Aaron, I think, has that amount.
Ballparks.
And is it really, I don't think that they will sit there for 6 months, because our winters aren't that long. I mean, I think people probably golf from February to October, don't they? Or even November.
They do. Most of the
So
rounds are.
maybe 2 or 3 months, maybe.
it's at least for probably 4 to 6 months, where you just have a reduced number of rounds. I don't want to cause a kink in what you have going on. It just doesn't make a lot of sense that we would replace the fleet in August. It seems like that would be a springtime activity.
Well, again, it's kind of a twofold thing in that they brought us this offer a while ago, but it's always been to start in the new fiscal year because that allows us to change our budget for the new fiscal year. I think they will probably be delivered earlier than, I think they'll be there in July, but I mean, that's where they were before, but you're right. I mean, that we do have to go into the winter months with them.
You're gonna get some September, October, and November, but the first freeze, first snow that flies. Golfers aren't all that smart. They'll play. I consider Ron and me one of them. They'll play in all kinds of weather if there's $5 to be earned. But they'll play up until November.
Or December.
Strange.
Our lease, I mean, our income from carts, more than.
I don't doubt that at all.
By
No,
far.
I don't doubt that at all. I just see $3,600 that we could save by deferring it until spring. And I know how tight the budget's going to be. I know that the golf course is going to be on the chopping. So
I anticipate that as well.
I would be in favor of deferring this decision until next meeting, just to determine if we can go month to month in the spring, at which time then we can approve this amount and move forward.
And I will tell you that we are on the end of their 60 days on their bid. We have to either take this deal or anticipate whether or not they will offer it again. That's.
Why are we at the end of the 60 days? We've met several times in the last 60 days.
I think because we were evaluating the offer, Commissioner. I think the reason that we thought it was a good deal is because the trade-in value, but you bring up a very good point. We're certainly willing to take it back and ask for those modifications and see if they'll work. So if the commission's amenable to that, we're fine with that. If the commission wants to approve it, we're fine with it.
Well, you know my feelings. We have a motion and a second, so Mayor, you can proceed.
Still would like to know what the revenue is. Please.
It's budgeted at $150,000 and we're hitting that in cart revenue for the golf course.
Per year?
Yes,
Not 4 years.
per year, yes.
I understand what you're saying, but I do believe that if it comes back next spring, it will again be for July delivery. It just, in my mind, that just sticks in there that that's the way they've always provided them, is at the beginning of the fiscal year. That's not to say it can't be changed, but that's my memory of the past.
Thank you, John.
Motion was by Ron, second by Ben. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-2. Item 9, consent items.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben to approve,
Second.
second by Ron. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 10, we will now recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item 11, all the trustees of the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 12, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 12.1, approval of claims in the amount of $173,040.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by Aaron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 13, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Item 14, trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting are all in attendance. Item 15, the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 15.1, approval of claims in the amount of $49,425.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Aaron,
Second.
by Ron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 16, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 17, all of the trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 18, the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 18.1, hearings. Also under item 18.1, conduct a hearing considering a project for which financial assistance is being sought from the United States Department of Transportation, providing grant funds for public transportation for the residents of Enid, which includes capital, operating, and administrative expenses. I need to make one comment. This is a hearing to obtain assistance from the U.S. Department of Transportation. It is not a hearing on what is in the City of Enid budget. Yes, and there will be no vote on the hearings. We have several people signed up.
Mayor, if I might,
Sure.
the purpose of this hearing is a requirement by
Department of
ODOT that you give an opportunity before we file for those funds for the people in the area to express that there is a need before we file. And
That's
what the purpose of the
That's the
hearing.
Federal Department of Transportation, not
US.
ODOT.
Okay. But that's the purpose. It's not to discuss the budget or those kind of things. It is to address the need in the city for public transportation.
You have signed up, and we'll start at the top. Deborah Nightingale.
Right here, it'll pick you up rather well.
Okay, just make my comments.
Yes, it'll pick you up from there.
Okay. My name is Deborah Nightingale, and I'm brand new to Enid, Oklahoma. It was my choice for retirement after my husband died. We're from Oklahoma City, but he had an illustrious career in the military, and he died 18 months ago of Agent Orange poisoning, and I found myself by myself for the first time in my life. Enid Transit System has been my lifesaver. I've been able to use it when I'm on medication and can't drive, my own van, when I was sick and couldn't drive and needed to be driven, to just the activities of everyday living, because I'm living in an independent living center. And so I have to be independent, and I have to have transportation. And Enid Transit System is the only transportation I know about. I've been a activist for the disabled for 39 and a half years. I cut my teeth on Section 504 of the Rehab Act of 73, I believe it was, but things are starting to get foggy in the history. It's so long. Over the years, I've expanded my activism to include senior citizens and other disenfranchised groups that may need a voice. I was appointed by the governor of North Carolina to be one of 200 persons with disabilities to write the Americans with Disabilities Act. And I was in Washington, D.C. for 2 months with all sorts of lawmakers and consultants, and it was an exciting, horrible experience. I never want to see a law written again. I was going to give up my activism when I retired. But when I moved to Enid 6 months ago, I found out I could not allow myself to let my experience, knowledge, and finely honed sense of right and wrong in my mind, my heart, and my voice to be stilled when there were those around me that don't have the skills to speak up. They don't have the experience when it's needed. So please listen to my fire and know I'm dedicated and very sincere to what I believe is God's purpose in my life that He set before me. I selected Enid over Oklahoma City, where I came from, because it's a nice small town, and it's proved to be exactly what I wanted. And there's so many services out there that I haven't even begun to try to tap into them yet, but I need them, and I know that they're here. It's a great community, small town America at its best, and I love it. I'm glad I selected Enid, not somewhere like Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I've been an integral part of establishing a portal-to-portal public transportation system in 2 other communities in the USA, and they're thriving still 30 years later. And I think that's remarkable, because these systems are not self-supporting, and we need the funding from DOT badly. And they used DOT grant money and are still using that. And they've expanded their systems, and I think we need to expand our system here because it involves so many people's needs. It's just a fact that without those monies, we can't be self-sustaining. And that's why the federal money is so important. I understand that you have a grant writer, and I'm not a grant writer. I'm just a citizen with a lot of fire and knowing that I have needs and that those needs have been met by that system. It helps prevent things like unemployment payments for people that can't get to work anymore if it's not here. It starts welfare in these families, Social Security income, and that's different than Social Security disability income. My lack of everyday activities in life. I mean, these people are gonna have to have some help somehow, somewhere, and it's gonna come right back here. It can create unsolvable problems for the elderly non-drivers and any non-driver for a multitude of reasons. The cost of all that is stunning and shameful in a community like Enid if they don't have it. Don't let that happen by closing this system down, please. It works so well for so many of us. We become taxpayers, we work, we go to school, we pay local and state sales taxes by accessing the opportunities to shop, work, and spend our money in our hometown. You have access to that information. That's not my job. And if there's anything that I can do to help with that as a volunteer, I'd be glad to. It's simply, I'm just the citizen, and I'm just one. Please remember that the last 5 times that you went out for medical care, to work, to church, count your blessings, but don't deny me the same access and the opportunities to those services too. You can hop in your car and drive where you want to, am I right? Remember that if there's nothing else I said to convince you that we need this system to work and work well, there is only a split second's difference between you and me and many of these people out here in the audience tonight. You could have a massive heart attack and stroke tonight, lose your income because you lose your job, you lose your medical benefits, you lose it all, or that split second's difference could be a terrible auto crash on the way home tonight. You could sustain a closed head injury, break your neck, and you're in the same boat. You lose your income, your ability to drive. And if you live long enough, like I have, you will become elderly. And so much more can happen to you when you start getting older. You lose your hearing, you lose your vision, you lose your strength, and you lose your ability to drive in many, many cases. And those people need public transportation. A virus attacks your brain, MS strikes you, Alzheimer's, just to name a few that can rob your ability to drive. Believe this to be true. I sincerely hope I never, ever see you in the future when I'm on Enid Transit System. Because something happened to you that created a need for special transportation imposed on your life. People unneeded need this, and we must use it. Please don't take it away from us. The problems that will cause an Enid will have to be dealt with in one way or another, and the problem that it will create are most likely incomprehensible to most able-bodied people on this commission, because they don't have to deal with those kind of disabilities and the need for transportation. Even people can't afford cars, and they can't afford insurance, and they can't afford gasoline and upkeep on a car. They have to use Enid Transport to get where they need to go. Most people where I come from would call Enid Transportation System mejor que nada. If any of you speak Spanish, that means, and don't speak Spanish, it means better than nothing. It really is. It's really a fine transportation system, but it does need to be expanded. I challenge any one of you in here to spend 2 days in a wheelchair, and that means you can't stand up to do anything. You can't stand up to go to the bathroom. You have to get your wheelchair into public toilets. It's a challenge. Or be blind for a couple of days. That can be arranged. We can find things on you, classes. Be lame, be poor, and not using a car. And see how far you get. You're not going to get very far at all without the transport system. You may really, then you may really understand our needs better. But I need it. I have my own van. It's wheelchair accessible and drivable by me. But my husband, bless his heart, bought 7 insurance policies that I didn't know about, and he turned it into a special needs trust. And he said the first thing you do is go out and buy the van of your dreams. You've got the money for it right now. You're not going to have the money for it in the future if you don't spend it right now. And get what you want, so I did. But I can't always drive it because some days I need medication, and I don't dare drive with medication on board. So I need Enid Transport to take me places where I need to go. I hope that my comments may have opened your eyes to some of the needs that are out there that you may not have actually thought about before. I don't know what you've thought about and talked in here about before, because this is my first meeting. And I don't know how you work here, but I want to get to know how you work. Because I believe that any citizen that should be a part of their city council and support their city council and their mayor and do what you can do. And I'm here to help. Call on me anytime. I'll do it as a volunteer. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will definitely be seeking the funds from the U.S. Department of Transportation.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
We will definitely be seeking the funds from the Department of the
Good.
U.S. Department of Transportation.
Thank you for that.
That's where we're headed.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker would be Elda Jones. Elda? Need your name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Elda Jones, and I live at Golden Oaks, and I'm here to talk about myself, need transit, and then also I have some other people that I'd like to talk about. I moved here, I retired from Northwestern in '99, and I lived over there independently with a handicap van that I was driving. In '03, I had a car wreck and came over here to Enid. It was a serious car wreck. I came over here to Enid and was in the nursing home for 3 months, went home for a week, came back here, 3 more months in the nursing home. And while I was in the nursing home here, I had to use a transit for my doctor's appointments because I had a severe break, and so I used the transit at least 2 to 3 times a week to see the doctor. And so then I went home. At that point, I went on Medicaid from DHS, and because I needed health care at home, I was on the Advantage program, if you know anything about that. Then in 06, 07, I moved over here from Alva, strictly because it had public transportation. I did not have that. I lived there 4 years in Alva without public transportation. I had no means of even going anywhere. And so then I have lived over here in Enid, used the transit for 8-9 years now, and it's definitely gotten better than it was in the beginning. So I'm proud to say that I'm glad it's done that. Then so I've been with public transportation since then. The other person that I need to talk about is Sharon Hume, and if any of you know her, she's a CPA at Wyman Brownlee. She was injured from a surgery and was paralyzed from the waist down. And so for about 6 months, they were waiting on a vehicle to give. She was still going to work. It was tax season. That's why she's not here tonight. It's tax season. So she would use the transit. They took her to work and took her to other places. There was one time that public transportation was not available because at 7 o'clock, that's when public transportation closed. And David, her husband, received a Main Street Award for a nomination for something, and she was unable to attend because of that. And it was a big award, so I think that, you know, that was another thing. Also, I'm here to represent Loaves and Fishes because I volunteer there. And to see the clients coming in and shopping and going home, they have to take public transportation. There's no other way. And the food is necessary. They've got to have the food. And so they come there to shop there. I know that the public transportation is not making money, but it's not there. It's for a public service. I don't know that, I think it, just to break even and to ask somebody that is already in the category of maybe a lower income, and some of the citizens that use the public transportation are the senior citizens, the low income, the mentally and physically handicapped, and working people. I go in all three categories. I'm low income, public, or mentally, I guess I could be. I'm physically disabled, and I am a senior citizen. So I fall in those classes of needing to use that public transportation. And because I do not drive now, I cannot afford a vehicle, and so I've got to have that public transportation. And I would really like to think about trying to give us some more. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruby Young.
Think y'all can get this good in 2 days?
Good job.
You don't have to do all this.
Need your name and address, please. There you go.
I'm Ruby Young, and I am not able to drive myself to work. And I just wonder how many of you folks that are here, that if you were in our shoes, would say, well, we do need the public transportation. These people have to have a way to get to work. They have to have a way to get to volunteering. There is young people that, for some reason, don't have a license. They have to depend on the Enid Transit to get them to work and get them back home. So I think all of you need to take into consideration. They may not to you seem like very many people, but the number that ride are outruled by a lot, because I see several young people, a whole lot younger than I am, that ride transportation because they have no vehicles or they can't afford a vehicle, and they have no other way to get to work, just like some of us that volunteer. We have no other way to get to volunteering, and if you do away with the Enid Transit, then a lot of us are going to have to give up our jobs that we like to do real, real well.
Thank you. Nathan Newell.
I'm Nathan Newell. I live at 4213 Legacy Court. I'm with the Salvation Army, and I work with a lot of indigent people. So the clients that we serve every day, we give bus passes to so they can go and look for work if they're not working. If they are working, we give them tokens until they start getting paid so they can get back and forth. And I'm glad to hear that you're going to apply for the federal grant, but I'd like for you to consider to expand it. We need the bus route from, say, 5 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the morning. I think if you had it that way, you'd have day shift, swing shift. Right now, a lot of people working swing shift can't have a way home. They have to either hitchhike or find some kind of transportation or walk 3 or 4 or 5 miles. And at night, for a woman, that's pretty dangerous. Now, if I was a business and if I wanted to move to a community, I'd want one that had public transportation so people would be able to come to work. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So I'm part Italian. I moved a lot. So anyway, I'd like for you to consider that. I think it would be good for this community. The Salvation Army has started a poverty initiative called Revision Enid, and which is a part of the Bridges Out of Poverty initiative. We're about to get started on the concept of the Getting Ahead classes, where people who has a hard time making it might work every day, but they got bills and they go from tragedy to crisis to hardship, and it's just a vicious circle. And I think that one of the things that can be a barrier is public transportation, or lack of, I should say. I think it's important for this community, and I hope that gets to be emphasized by this council. Thank you.
Thank you. Clinton Sykes. Need your name and address, please.
Yeah, my name is Clinton Seitz. I live at 315 South University Boulevard. I ride the transit every day. It is a crucial part of me getting to school and back. I am going to Autry right now to learn IT and computer repair and networking and all that. That would not be possible without the transit because we do not have a vehicle of our own. We cannot afford a vehicle of our own. While I do have a current and valid driver's license, it's just not able to happen without the funds for the vehicle. I agree with a lot of these others that have already talked. I think Enid Transit needs to be expanded. I think it honestly needs to have longer hours and needs to have more drivers. Because there's been plenty of times where they have just been so packed up that I may not get picked up till 5 o'clock from school when I'm set to be picked up at 4 because they've just got so many people that they've got to pick up. That's it.
Thank you. Debbie Trout. Is it Trout? Need your name and address, please.
Yes, I'm Debbie Trout, and I actually work for the Department of Rehabilitation Services, and my office is at 124 North Oakwood, and I have this area. I am a nationally certified orientation and mobility specialist for the blind. I do not have a disability. I am a professional that works with persons with a disability, and my expertise is travel. So I'm here on behalf of the community of disabled persons, particularly those that are blind, to tell you that all of Oklahoma hurts for transportation, and I commend you for trying to get funding for transportation. And I think if you would look at your bus system, you would find most of the persons who ride your bus do the paratransit, which is where it's door to door, because they have disabilities. And I think that has some effect on your funding sometimes as well. Department of Rehab, our job, we are actually an employment agency. We put people to work who have disabilities. It's very hard to go to work if you don't have transportation. And also, even if you're young and can travel, it's hard if you don't have sidewalks. And typically in Oklahoma, there are not sidewalks. So persons are dependent upon transit systems because there's no other way to get there. I tell people it'd be easier in Oklahoma to find a horse and teach someone to saddle it and ride it sometimes and teach them to use a long cane in transportation because it's just not available. But I would be more than happy as a professional who is educated in travel and transportation to help in any way I could to make sure that Enid has that service. What happens in a community that does not have transportation? These consumers order online, so your businesses are affected because they can order through Amazon and not have to shop your stores any longer. You know, you don't get some funding from federal government to support and hire persons with disabilities. There are things that will impair the community financially if you don't have transportation. Also, people with disabilities, we have people with master's and doctorate degrees. They look at a community, do you have transportation available? Because if you don't, then they have to buy a vehicle and they have to pay someone money to drive an hourly wage, or if they use theirs, it's an hourly wage and mileage. So it becomes very expensive. And if taxi cabs come in, it's very expensive. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for looking into it. I do think it's vital to a community of this size to have a healthy transit system.
Thank you. Janelle Fuchsa.
Hi. I am not from this community, but I have.
Janelle, we need your name and address, please.
Oh, sorry. Janelle Fuchsa, 201 Westview in Wacomas. As I was saying, I have so many friends in this community that depends on the transit because of their disability, medications, you name it. And like that one lady said, you know, a lot of these people have to, rely on internet to order things since they cannot go to stores. But with the transit, they can get out, they can be dependent or independent. And, it does need to be extended. Because, you just don't know what time people work. And there is so many people that volunteer that needs a ride on the transit. And without their volunteering, there is a space opened and nobody can, help anybody. And, but I would appreciate it if you would consider getting the funds for these people. And like Clint, he does go to school. He is trying to, how would you put it, learn more knowledge to be able to maybe, make a little bit on the side, but that still isn't going to help him with a vehicle. And it would have to be one special made for him. And plus gas, etc. And a lot of these people are also low incomed. And it really, really helps them out. So please help these people. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Diana Smith.
Yes, good evening. My name is Diana Smith. I live here in Enid. I have lived here for 44 years. I'm a legally blind resident of Enid. Love this city. Want to support this city. I have been employed here full-time in various jobs, the last one for 8 years, for 25 years. And without public transportation, without the Enid Transit, I could not go to work every day. Just the basic activities of daily living that we all do, go to the grocery store, go back and forth to work, go to medical appointments, get our haircut, which I'm necessarily needing one. I could not do any of those things without the Enid Transit system. And they are just a lovely people. They're very hardworking and dedicated and caring. And without them, it would be devastating to so many people, as the people that have spoken here before me, I'm sure would also attest to. To not have the transit would be a devastating life event. It truly would. This is where, I want to continue living. I've lived here since I was 9, and I don't want to go any other place. This is where I want to choose to pay my taxes, where I want to live and be productive and help other people. But, if I can't be self-sustaining, I have to think about my life and how I'm going to live the rest of it. I have to be where I can be self-sufficient and take care of myself. And because of the transit, I can do that. Yes, it would be great if we could expand the services. I would be all for that. I remember years ago when they used to run till 10 o'clock at night. I miss the Saturday dispatcher. I do. But I understand how those things have happened and their cost-saving measures, and it's worked out. So yes, I would love to say let's expand it more. But at the bare minimum, if we can at least keep what we have now, that's fabulous. But just please, please, I implore all of you not to ever do away with the Enid Transit, because it will have devastating consequences in so many of our lives. So we appreciate that you do have this service available for us, and just want it to continue. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Dawson Daly and Marie Daly. Need your name and address and speak into the mic, please.
I'm Dawson Daly, and I live at 205 West Brook, and I have a disability. I depend on the transportation going to doctors and back home, and that's all I got. I'll let my wife speak.
I'm in the same boat he's in. We need the transportation to get to the doctors and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you. June Dobson. June Dobson here.
I'm June Dobson, and I thank you.
Need your name.
I'm June Dobson, and I think that the transfer is a great service to people that don't drive, like my sister, and those that don't have vehicles, and I'd like to see it stay in service for Enid.
Thank you. I think these three people have left. Ashley Kimbrell, Mark Kimbrell, and Polly Maxwell. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I need to step out for a minute if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, we take about a 5-minute break.
I wasn't asking for a break, I just need to make a phone call.
We'll go on. Charles, help me with the last name. Thiessen? Charles Thiessen? Sheila? 1225 South Clinton. I'm going to let you pronounce your name and address.
Hi, I'm Sheila Goodnow. I live here in Enid. I manage La Mesa and Meadows Point Apartments. We house 147 residents that rely on the Enid Transit for transportation to volunteering, jobs, doctor's appointments. If they don't have that, they rely on family, and a lot of my residents don't have family here in town. So it is a huge need in Enid. Please consider it.
Pamela Ballard.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Pamela Ballard, 217 South Hoover, Enid. I just want to first thank you so much for your support of Enid Transit Authority for many years. It is such a needed public service to those here in the room, as you have heard from, and I certainly could not do justice to their compelling stories. I just want to reiterate the need for this, not only for those who have been able to come here and speak for themselves, but those who are not here tonight. So not just for those of us who have disabilities and often have had to use public transportation, but for those who use it for employment, which is the largest percentage of those using transportation, but also for the many of those who do suffer from disabilities. But again, thank you so much for your support for public transportation, and I do just implore you to continue that support. It is much needed. It's not a luxury item. It is very much a necessity for those who have to have it for the reasons stated here tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Cannon and Debbie Cribley. Is it Cannon or Canaan? Cannon and Debbie Cribley. William Johnson. William Johnston.
Thank you, Mayor Shuey and councilpersons. I'm Executive Director of Magby Transportation in Fairview. I'm here to support Enid Transit with all that we can do. We work very hard to support the Enid community. We do a lot of transportation to dialysis units, elder persons with disabilities, and I know they're working hard too. And if there's anything that we can do on our behalf to help Enid Transit, we'll be happy to be a part of that if we're invited.
Thank you. Appreciate that. There's another person from Fairview. He's that good, huh? Lynn Bucell.
Good evening. I'm here to represent Riddell Stone, an avid transit rider. She told me to bring the message to you, so I will read our conversation. Riddell stated, many people in Enid need the transfer to get to work and buy groceries because they do not have car. Riddell stated that she became dependent on public transportation system in Enid after her husband's death in 2007. All the transit staff have been very supportive and helpful to me through the years. Riddell was at the hearing when James Neal was transportation director and shared very openly with him during that session and that hearing. She didn't want to miss out on this opportunity tonight, and she wants not to see anything happen to the transit other than it grow and blossom and become all that it can be. It's a valuable service, she told me, to all the citizens of Enid. Thank you for your additional applications and ideas to expand.
Thank you. Jerry Galbraith.
Jerry, you're up.
Jerry Galbraith, 1510 Cheyenne, who signed the attendance sheet.
honest man, Jerry. The last, you were not the last person to sign up. We have one more. Judy Cocajohn. Judy Cocajohn. There you are. Name and address, please.
Judy Cocajohn, 2317 West Cherokee Avenue in Enid. I think what I was going to say has already been said by speakers better than myself, so I just wanted to make the point that my husband is a resident of Enid Senior Care, and without transit, he couldn't possibly make his medical appointments as many of the other residents either. I thank you for the transit.
Thank you. Item 18.2, approval of claims in the amount of $192.34.
Move to approve. Go ahead, Rodney.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Rodney, second by Ben. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 19, we'll now adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Item 20, public comments. We have one person signed up, and that is Diane Levesque. Diane?
Actually, it's Diane Levesque, and I live at 1324 West Oak. And hello again, but I come back because I have public support for what I do. I run into people on the street, say, hey, keep it up. So I'm back to say that, well, I want to run for a board that seems to have disappeared, and that would be the ETN board. And I've been looking for that, to apply for that, and I know how you people already love me so much. I will dispense with buttering you up with the banana oil and all that, and just say that for the past couple of times, what I've done was demonstrate competency. Now, if you value competency, I know I will have your vote. And it's competency in the form of knowing that there is a microphone that was not deployed so that the wheelchair-bound could have equal access to a microphone. That was Mr. Kimes' job, and if I am on the board, I will certainly look to accommodate the disabled much better. Also, I'm aware of the fact that there is a deaf community here. And I'm not sure what all you're doing by way of closed captions or open captions. I would certainly make that a priority were I to serve on that board. But where have you been hiding this board? Where is it? When does it meet? I can't find a schedule anywhere and haven't for quite some time. But if you dig it up, I can tell you that you will have better miking. You'll have equal access to a microphone by the disabled, and attention being paid to your deaf, the deaf and hard of hearing. I mean, we have elderly here that are hard of hearing and deserve captioning as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry, I made a mistake also. Jan Woodward, I'm sorry. I forgot to call your name. Is it Jan, J-A-N?
Yes, J-A-N.
Okay.
Well, at least you aren't like the guy that told me to get out of the street.
If you can, speak as well into the mic.
Yes,
mic,
my
and
name is Jan Woodward. I live at 2545 Everett Drive. I have a letter, first of all, from the director of the Sandra Beasley Independent Living Center, which is where I work. This letter is being composed by Frida Cleaver, Executive Director of the Sandra Beasley Independent Living Center. It is with full authority that Jan Woodward will present this to the forum. SBILC is an organization that provides services to individuals in Enid and seven other surrounding counties. The center provides skill training, information referral, advocacy and outreach, peer counseling, and transition services to persons with disabilities. Mandated by the federal law, 51% of the employees must be a person with a disability. The law also states that 51% of the members of the board of directors must be persons with a disability. In order for the population that works for, participates in, and directs the center, public transportation is critical. The concept behind independent living is to keep people free of barriers. Without the transportation system in Enid, there would be insurmountable issues. Our society would take a quantum leap backwards. Lack of transportation in the rural areas has caused many problems and has caused residents to relocate to larger towns and cities. How are people in wheelchairs and those with ambulatory issues supposed to get to work, go to medical appointments, do their shopping, get out and pay their bills, and in general live life to the fullest? In many cases, it's not about having a vehicle. It's not about being able to use typical or standard transportation. As an organization, several events are held at SBILC, as are weekly skills training classes. Without the public transit, those who have participated for years and have come to rely on and benefit from the services provided would no longer be able to participate. It would be my hope that the issue of closing or shutting down or cutting back on the transportation system in Enid be reconsidered and think beyond the almighty dollar and think about those who need the system in order for them to work and earn the almighty dollar. On a personal note, I have worked for the last 29 years. I have bought a home, which I pay taxes. I support the local school systems and the road taxes. I have used Enid Transit to return to Enid after having surgery, and I've paid for this by myself. I've used the Enid Transit to get to OKC Airport to fly to conferences in New Orleans, Texas, and New Mexico. I also used the system to fly to Warm Springs, Georgia to appear in the Miss Wheelchair America pageant. I use the transit system for shopping, for groceries and other needs, transportation to doctor's appointments in town and in Oklahoma City. I've used it to attend family weddings, funerals, get to and from family reunions, no longer possible if we don't have this transportation system. I don't mind paying for these extras myself. At least it keeps me out in the community. It would be no longer possible for me to have the way of life I have now. So please, keep it and expand it. Those programs that they have with the singers and everything, it would be really wonderful if I would be able to attend as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 21, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Ben.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Guys?
No.
Second by Aaron. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-2. We are adjourned.
Thank you for joining us for the Enid City Commission meeting. If you have any questions or comments, visit our website at enid.org.